There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
What's up? Welcome into episode number 40 of the Program Guys podcast. My name is Mason Prince, joined with you as always by Mark Hall, Ryan Tyson, Matt Gann, Patrick Hertzberger. Today is Thursday, October 13th. Be sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. If you're watching this video on our YouTube channel right now, there's a high chance that you are not subscribed to the channel. Help us out by subscribing to the channel. It costs you nothing, and we're trying to get to 2,000 subs by the end of the football season. Already surpassed 1,000. Thanks if you're already subscribed. You're a true program guy or gal. Follow us on Twitter at Program Guys with a Z, Instagram Program Guys with a Z, our Facebook page Program Guys Podcast. However you get your podcast, that's where you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, whatever it is. The Oklahoma Sooners are 3-3. They're taking on Kansas this week at 11 a.m. I'm going to the game with my lovely fiance, who is a Kansas grad. Mark is going as well. I'm trying to just feel something, you know. I'm trying. The uniforms helped today. The new announcement of the uniforms. We'll talk about it in a second. Those alternates.
I can't wait to talk about them.
Yeah, I know. Ryan's got some opinions that if you're a fan of the show, you'll be shocked to know that Ryan found a problem with the new uniforms.
It's always me, guys.
Yeah, finds a problem with everything. Boys, how we doing? Are we recovered from the arse kicking on Saturday?
I'm kind of tan now. I gotta
Nice.
if you go back and watch the post game, you see I got pretty burnt, but much like my emotional feelings, my physical state has settled a little bit. So yeah.
You know who else got burnt? Our secondary. Almost every play last week.
Yeah.
Pat's not healing.
So Pat answered that question for me. Pat's not healed. Okay,
Yeah,
Matt,
I'm
what about
good.
you?
Yeah, it was tough. I don't think I've recovered. I think I need kickoff on Saturday to just kind of get past last weekend.
I think that's fair. And Ryan?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be negative here. I feel okay. I feel all right. My expectations are like lower than the floor going into Saturday somehow. So I'm just kind of vibing, you know. We're 3-3.
Yeah.
Let's see how we go.
Mark,
I just real fast. Yeah, it's just how is it that when things are going good, Ryan's like, I don't know, I don't really like it. I'm not sure about it. Or when it starts to go wrong, he's the most negative Nancy there is. But when it actually has gone as worse as it possibly could go, Ryan's the one who's like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
It's because I'm also.
Did y'all watch
a
House of the
character.
Dragon?
Yeah, right.
Hey,
Awful, yeah, bad.
Did
No,
you?
no.
Did you watch it? It's
No.
great.
No. So I think we have a very good opportunity this weekend. Winning solves a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And it's weird to say because they were 3-0 and they, had a game at home against Kansas State and then on the road to TCU. And then obviously the Texas game. I think this game against Kansas on Saturday is the biggest one that Brent Venables and the staff has had. And you can talk about the response, about losing 3 in a row, all that. I legit think this is important because it stops the bleeding. And even if you lose more games in the season, this game and then a bye week, you're rolling into that bye week with a win. This season, this like panic mode, house on fire, hot water burn baby attitude that this entire fan base has, rightfully so. I'm not going to say that they're wrong, but I feel like you start to feel a little bit better going into that bye week with a win, especially over a ranked Kansas team who, whether you want to believe they're good or not, they're a ranked football team, whether you want to believe it or not.
Yeah, I think it helps with the psyche.
Okay.
No, I think
My
I'm
internet's
right
screwed
there.
up.
Look,
I wanted to leave you on a cliffhanger. Right
we
there,
were letting
Mason.
it breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
Man,
That's
you
fine.
know?
For a little behind the scenes action, we did this intro already, and my internet completely crapped out. I'm in
Second
Southwest
week
Missouri.
in a row.
Yeah, I'm in Southwest Missouri for work and in Stockton, Missouri, in case anyone wants to know. If you're from the town of Stockton, I think you're one of 400 people, so congratulations. But yeah, it's my internet was crapped out. So, but did anybody agree with my statement? Anyone agree with me? Feel the same way?
Yeah, it's a huge game. Huge game. Could swing the momentum. Guys, we have a chance to upset Kansas at home. Come
Yeah,
on now.
It's
I
not
know.
upset though because we're favored by a touchdown. I don't know
Which
how
is
that's
wild.
Which is-
happening.
I have no idea how.
That's-
They get it. They know. We know we're gonna win this weekend.
Yeah, but Mason, I agree with you. I think it will help with the psyche, right? And I think this team needs momentum going into the bye week. So definitely a very crucial, pivotal game in the season. I don't think anyone was going to say, "Hey, can't wait till Kansas comes into town," and them to be ranked and obviously look a lot better and almost beat a pretty good TCU team if maybe their starting quarterback doesn't go down. But hey, even the second guy or the second string looks good, which I know we'll talk about a little bit more in depth in here in a little bit, but I definitely think it will help the psyche, like you said, help stop the bleeding, especially going into a pivotal bye week. Hopefully that will just carry the momentum forward. We can get a win.
Yeah, I think, we might talk about this a little later too, but BV talked in his press conference today about like this team is going to be defined on how they finish. And I think it starts here, but he also made a kind of a comment that was like, every game is big, right? Every game matters. It's not just this game. So I do think this will be extremely important for us, like every game is, but you're right, Mason, to like stop the bleeding here. But, I just need to see them actually play good football. Like I just need something. I need to see like the effort. Like that's what I need to see. And like that's what I hope we see more than anything else.
I think that stop the bleeding is a good way to put it. It's been really tough for 2 weeks, and K-State was just like a tough fought game that we lost. I think, especially if Jalen Daniels isn't playing, there's an opportunity here to really reestablish yourself as a more physical, more commanding presence on the field on defense. And if Dylan Gabriel is coming back on our offense, which you might know if you're listening right now, you might know what that is, but all indications so far are good, are that he'll play. Hopefully the offense gets back into rhythm too. And we feel like we're on a little bit of an upswing heading into that bye week rather than a 4-game skid, 0-4 in the Big 12, and looking at needing to win 3 out of the last 5 games just to get bowl eligible. That's a tough place to be in for a team that hasn't looked as mentally strong as we thought they were going to be.
And to that point, Brent Venables had a point that he made in the coaches show. I don't even know if they call it the coaches show. I'm just going to call it the Rudy show, where he goes to Rudy's and he talks in front of the fans with Toby Rowland and Teddy Lehman. And he basically said he was in front of the team and all the coaching staff and said, if you want to leave, there's the door. And if you can't handle this or you don't want to be a part of this, then no problem. I'll write you a recommendation. I will help you find a new home, all of that stuff. But he doesn't want people here that aren't going to be able to handle this adversity or aren't a 100% bought in. And to me, while that is encouraging that, people are still here, it also worries me that like he felt as though that was a statement that needed to be said to be like, hey, if you're not bought in, then leave. I feel like all we heard all offseason and the first 3 games was how bought in everybody was.
Yeah.
So the first sign of adversity hits and the house is on fire and you got to tell them that you're going to find them a new place to go if they want to leave. And he talks about keeping everyone around and not trying to let guys transfer and all that stuff and building a program. But he's talking about, if you want to leave, I'll help you leave. It's just, I don't know.
I don't think there's any way to talk about those comments without also talking about Theo Weiss playing 0 snaps last week and it being called a coach's decision. That seems pointed to not play Theo Weiss. He is a good player. If he was healthy, there's no reason why he shouldn't be on the field unless there's some behind the scenes stuff that he's not buying in, whatever.
Yeah.
There was a sort of report today about DJ Graham moving to receiver, and size-wise, that only really makes sense if you're losing your big Theo Weiss body type.
I don't know, on the positive side with Weiss, he could have messed up a team rule and knew the consequences, and they're just not saying that
Sure.
these were the consequences.
I could be connecting two unrelated dots.
right,
You're
and Weiss
You're right.
could know he's upset, and he gets back in the game this week, and all is good. Right. I mean,
Anyone else?
Weiss is also the one that went to the transfer portal and then came out right at the beginning of the year. Isn't
Right.
that
good
correct?
point. All right.
So I mean, like all kind of signs are pointing to
Sure.
maybe this, but you might be right, Patrick. This could come out and we're totally all wrong.
We'll see.
It's like someone who wants to keep breaking up with their significant other, except he only gets 4 years to do it. So it's kind of like piss or get off the pot, Theo.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. We'll see what happens. I want to, before we get down to the Kansas game, I do want to mention the new jerseys, anthracite jerseys that they announced on Wednesday that they will be wearing on Saturday. They are to honor, let me get the name right, Prentice Gaunt. He's the first Black scholarship football player on in OU history. So they're wearing those jerseys to honor him. If you haven't seen them, go to OU social media. They look pretty cool. I like them. Some other guys may have some other opinions, but thoughts on debuting new jerseys in the middle of a 3-game losing skid. I know they probably picked this date like before the season even started to release these, but I feel like it's a tough time to get excited about the first alternate jerseys we've seen in 7 years, I feel like.
My thinking, which is like outside of the box here, is maybe they're releasing it now and it's going to be around the same time each year, and therefore it'll potentially fall around Halloween in the future at a home game, and it's like a Halloween decked out theme. They're just getting the trend started this year. I don't know.
We're 3 weeks before Halloween right now.
I know,
but this is our closest home game to it. The next
Yeah.
one is Baylor, which is in November.
Fair point.
Ryan, nice.
Right.
Oh, Baylor. Let's talk about Baylor.
It's got
Jesus Christ.
No, all right. We're not gonna.
It wasn't even me.
I know.
I personally I understand the move. Like, I'm sure they probably already picked this. This is also our homecoming game.
Yeah.
But I do kind of understand, like, we really haven't had a lot to be excited about the past 3 weeks at all. It's just been really, really bad. It's just been bad after bad after bad. And I feel like this injected a little bit of excitement from the fan base today. At least the fan base that I saw on Twitter seemed excited about it. I think recruits are going to respond favorably to it. And so I don't know if it was intentionally put here, but I do think it could be beneficial for us just from an excitement level and getting kind of the fan base back in. People were, selling tickets very cheaply to the Kansas game, like you mentioned. I think to us earlier, right?
I bought 4 for $21 a piece.
Yeah,
that was just
insane.
the ticket themselves. So
it's a ranked Kansas.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy. So
and it's lower bowl. Like I'm not up in the nosebleeds. I'm down low.
So I'm thinking maybe does that bring more people in so that they can see them in person?
Could be.
I don't think it's negative. Like, I don't think it's negative toward like this is when we decided to drop them. So
Mark, you're on mute.
I think they picked a game before the season that they thought they would win.
Yeah.
That's all that I think it comes down to, because you don't decide the week of that you're dropping this.
No.
One thing that just kind of came to me, kind of realized, is I don't think we've had Oklahoma across the front since Kyler Murray, or maybe Jalen Hurts, but I think you got to go back to the Kyler Murray year 2018 to have that. I don't really love anthracite with the crimson, but hey, maybe it looks really good in the sun. I think the helmet looks awesome. I really like the helmet.
Helmet's cool.
I bet it looks. Producer Trevor loves them. Producer Trevor is obsessed with the look.
Can I have like 1 minute?
Oh my gosh!
Just
yes,
one.
yes, yeah.
Hold on.
Like,
Can I preview it? Can I preview it? In this edition of Ryan Rants, Ryan talks about how he wishes this jersey was yellow and green.
No,
All
all
right.
yellow. I want
All right, your minute.
All yellow.
Your minute starts now.
Look, We are a historic Blue Blood program that has beautiful jerseys. Mark mentioned it last week on his MVP. They are amazing. They don't need to be changed. And anthracite, or whatever it's called, if you want to call it black, is not in our colors. Like, it's not. I understand what they're trying to do here, and I think it's great that they're honoring Prentice for this. I think it's a great message, but it feels gimmicky to me. And I don't love that, especially with like how much tradition this university has. So like that is my feelings. Ohio State has done this. I didn't like it. Baylor does this. I don't like it. Like Oregon does this. I don't like it. I feel like we're falling into like those same just like paths, and I don't want to do that. So that is my rant. I'm done. I don't really like them, but I understand kind of why we did it.
I like them because they involved former players in the design, like Creed Humphrey, who is obviously a big name NFL player, Soul Mission director, Caleb Kelly, not even director. He's part of the Soul Mission. I shouldn't call him director. He's Soul Mission something.
His title's director. They have like
it is
five
okay.
or six guys named director.
All right, that makes me feel better then.
Like how we're all hosts, but you actually handle most of the like
Yeah,
point guarding.
It's the same thing.
Kind of like how we're co-hosting.
So they included former players and even players from other sports to help out with the design of this. I thought that was probably the coolest part. All right, I want to move on from the uniforms. Mark, yes.
A small part of the press release also said that they'd be unveiling other Unity jerseys for other sports throughout their seasons.
That's cool.
We're likely to see more similar to this.
Circle the Mark Gans.
That.
Circle the Mark Gans. Wag marks.
Wag marks.
Yeah. Okay. Some quick recruiting news before we get to the game. Reclassification came out, or re-rankings came out, I should say, and OU is now the third ranked class in the country as it stands right now. That is not including any future recruits or guys possibly switching, whatever it is. We had a Hayes Fawcett tweet earlier in the week talking about Flipmas that Colton Vasek liked. That freaked me out for a hot second, and then I felt like I was overthinking it. You guys kind of talked me off a ledge a little bit there, but third ranked recruiting class as it stands right now. That's why I think this game is so important to win. You got to stop the bleeding to show the recruits that, look, it's going to be okay. I promise.
Yeah. I wonder, my only thought on this is, and I'm not a football player and I'm not a recruit or anything, but I think there's got to be part of these people that are looking at this team and saying like, oh, this is an opportunity. I can start immediately when I come in next year. Or
there's a lot of guys who do think that way. Yeah.
We're so bad right now. I mean, like if I was Jackson Arnold, I would be like, this is mine. If I want it, if I play good enough.
Yeah. You don't think Jeff Levy made a call to Jackson Arnold being like, you see what we're dealing with? Yeah, you're next. Like you're up next.
Obviously I want to win the rest of our games, but I'm curious on how much that thinking is going into this. And I'm so curious around behind the scenes. How do coaches handle this when they're in this kind of adversity? How do they talk to the recruits? What do they say? Like all of that stuff is so fascinating to me.
Matt,
I think they show him the tweet that Mason read off in the post game about the depleted recruiting classes, and they say, "Hey, there are spots on the team. Come play ball for me."
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt.
Go ahead.
In there.
No, you're good, Mark. It was a good input there. I'll just say I think BV and the staff they've got a top 5 recruiting class even before this season started. I think what the staff does is they're always in constant communication with these players like Petaway, like Anthony Evans, like Colton Vasket, and let these guys know up front, hey, this is what we're building for. We're not just looking at this team. And I'm sure, like Tyson said, it's got to be a tough conversation. I don't think BV saw this season going this bad, but I think being in constant communication, I mean, I remember reading some quotes from Petaway and from those guys. All they kept talking about was how involved and how much communication they had with not just their position coach, but all of the coaches, which I think is vitally important. And when these guys commit, BV has said multiple times, we're planning on having them on the roster. They're going to be here playing for the University of Oklahoma. So I really don't have a lot of concerns about guys flipping or whatever that might be. I have full faith in this staff. this is a good transition year, rebuilding the program, get the guys that they're recruiting in. All will be good. Just got to be patient.
My main thing is we have got to hit the transfer portal hard. These juniors and sophomores going to their senior and junior year, I don't think have the talent to carry this team next year. And we have got to add more experienced guys to come in. And so transfer portal is going to be critical because the freshmen coming in may be great, but they don't have the experience to get an awesome season out of this. So transfer portal for me is going to be huge.
Bro, that's so interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to be starting in critical positions once seniors age out? Like, we're losing both starting corners, right?
Mhm.
David Aguevu, Sean White. Maybe it's not all bad, but
Yeah.
it's a lot to refresh year over year. And I think Pat makes a good point.
And that's what they're trying to avoid.
Kiddos.
Yeah. That's what they're trying to avoid. They've said it multiple times. They don't want high turnover. They want guys to be in the program for a while, and your starters should be your juniors and seniors essentially.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Kansas game. Kansas coming in off their first loss of the season to TCU last week at home. Kansas looked good with a backup quarterback in for 3/4 of the game. We talked about that in our post-game pod a little bit. Kansas is a talented football team. They're not the same old Kansas. Lance Leipold has this team humming, and they look pretty good. And this isn't the same Kansas team that Samaje Perine broke the record against. This isn't the same Kansas team that Baker held his crotch against. Like, this team's really good. And OU knows that, and I'm sure Brent Venables knows that. And right now, it doesn't matter if the team's good or not. They got to be ready to play because they don't look good right now. So let's start with the offense against the OU offense against the Kansas defense. Dylan Gabriel's going to play. I'm going to say it. It's not confirmed by anybody, but if he's practicing and he's talking to the media, I don't care what concussion protocols you have. If that's your protocols, he's playing. Like, he wouldn't talk to the media if he wasn't ready to play. So I think Dylan Gabriel is going to be your quarterback. I'm interested to see how he comes back and responds, what this offense looks like. I feel like you got to open it up. And let's say he doesn't play. If Davis Bell's the guy who's in there, you got to throw more, right? Or is it going to be more Wildcat? I don't know.
Surely not, but what do you? I don't know that we've seen any reason to expect us to just open up the offensive playbook if it's anyone except for Dylan. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's like a lack of trust in the quarterbacks or just an error on Levy's part, but last week didn't work, and Kansas has all of that on film now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I think, I think you're right, Mason. I think he comes back. BV kind of was swaying, like, in his press conference was like, yeah, he's probably going to play. Like, we'll have a for sure answer on Thursday.
Yeah.
But he was like, he's been in full practice, which makes me think that he's going to play. He talked to the media. He was like, I'm taking it a day at a time, but I feel really good today, all that kind of stuff. So, I'm just interested to see. I think I saw a statistic or I heard something that, like, the second he went out in the TCU game, we've had like 18 series since then, I believe, from like midpoint through the TCU game through the Texas game. And like, we have only had like 100 yards of offense or something like absolutely insanely ridiculous that like we just haven't been able to move the ball without him. So I'm just very like fascinated to see like how he comes back in and how he adjusts to coming back in, because we know he's had some accuracy issues, and I'm curious if those are going to get better with him being off for like 2 weeks, or if they're going to get worse and he has to warm up and he has to get back into it. So I'm just fascinated with like the way that the way the offense shows up with him behind the line.
Yeah, accuracy for me is the biggest thing with Dylan coming in. I think he's going to play too. If he doesn't play, I hope we see Nick Evers. But accuracy for me and getting the wide receivers going last week was really unacceptable. Mims didn't have a ball, like catch a ball, or no, it was -2 yards, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that stuff just can't happen, whether whoever is playing quarterback. And then I want to see more in-game adjustments. It feels like we're just continuously stubborn in our offense and what we're running. And I want to see big in-game adjustments and unpredictability if we get put in a bad spot.
Yeah, I'll say right away on this podcast, if DG doesn't play, OU's not winning this football game. Not from what I've seen from Bevel, not what I've seen even from the Wildcat that maybe I hope they continue to run, because they actually had some good momentum. They were getting some good yards, but then obviously when you get in tough third down situations, you can't rely on Davis Bevel to get you a first down or make a good accurate read or throw. So DG gives us the only possibility of playing. I see OU in the ESPN app right now. We're favored by 9. So that would lead me to believe that DG.
So crazy.
Right. That DG, they would be leaning that DG would play. I can't believe that. I'm sure Mark can give some more insight on the number as well. But I think the run game has to be established first. Even if DG starts, we have to rely heavily on the running game. Even if that means coming back to the Wildcat and getting Brady Willis. He ran it, I thought, pretty well. And those guys and getting the wide receivers involved. The run game has to get going. They don't need to rely heavily on DG if he plays. The run game should help us get through. Kansas is giving over 100 plus rushing yards a game, even 400 yards of total offense. So it's not like they're stopping people on defense. They're purely just outscoring opponents at this point.
Mark,
We're actually at 9. Yeah. I know it opened somewhere near that, but then it moved down to 7 and had hovered there. It stopped hovering and is officially Oklahoma by 9. I was just looking at, so one of the things that we talked about before the season with the Jeff Lebby offense is last year they had 3 players over 1,000 yards rushing, right? 2 backs and the quarterback. Well, we're halfway through the season and we have 1 player, Eric Gray, above 500 yards rushing. The next highest is Javonte Barnes at 247.
That's disgusting.
It's really disgusting. It doesn't really make sense, especially when you game planned an entire game to just run the football. But I digress on that part. We have to be able to open the playbook up some this week. Hopefully Dylan is playing. Even if he's not, there has to be a better game plan than we saw for Texas. If there's not, that's when I start looking at, like, is Jeff Lebby
who we think he is
always gonna be here?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just you got to see more of a game plan.
Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I think if DG can't play and Bevel comes out, you're going to hear the Boo Birds in Norman, Oklahoma.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Oh, no doubt.
And it's nothing
they were
against
booing him in Dallas.
Listen, we have Bevel didn't grow up in the program. He's a transfer in. There's nothing against the guy. But if he's the guy that's going to put you in a position to win you a football game, and clearly what we've seen from the last game and a half, he's not it. So if DG's not going to play, give Nick Evers a chance, give Booty a chance. I'd rather see them get in than have to watch whatever Bevel can give us.
The key to me, whether it's Dylan Gabriel or whether it's Davis Bevel or somebody else, if Marvin Mims doesn't get the football, you're dead on offense. I'm telling you right now, you're dead. You have to get your best player on the team involved. I don't care how you do it. Put the ball in his hands, run a slant route. If you can't believe that Bevel can't throw that far, do something, because he's the best player on your offense. And he was non-existent in the Texas game. And that's a massive reason you got shut out for the first time in 311 games or whatever that number is that I keep saying. It's gross. It's disgusting and it's despicable. Figure it out. It's not that difficult to scheme up a guy of Marvin Mims's caliber to get him open enough to where even if the ball's not super accurate, he can hit him and let him run and do that. Sorry.
Yeah, that was the most shocking part of the game. Like, how can you not throw multiple balls to Marvin Mims?
Because we didn't let our quarterback throw.
I get that.
I know.
Still
39 yards.
The only thing that he could throw were little slant passes and, hey, toss it deep. Just chuck it. That's the only thing Jeff is calling for him.
Gabe Eichert said that the pass that went out of bounds that they tried to hit Marvin deep on was 6 yards out of bounds. It didn't even have a shot. Like it had no shot.
And we should be fair. It is hard to play quarterback when you're basically standing on the sideline for first down, second down, and then on third down, they ask you to pick it up on a 3rd and 13. Yep. That's an impossible situation to be in. No quarterback can do that. That said, his ineptness is part of why we're going with that offense on first and second down, right? If you don't trust him enough to open up the playbook, do it with someone else. We got to figure something different out.
Yep. Let's move on to the defense. Oklahoma defense against the Kansas offense. No Jalen Daniels for the Jayhawks. It was reported that he's out for the year, but Jalen Daniels tweeted that that's news to him. So he's not playing against Oklahoma, but who knows if he's out for the whole year. That would suck for Kansas just because Jalen Daniels has been fun to watch. But it's what's his name? Bean?
Jason Bean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jason Bean.
And he played OU last year, and he took OU to the wire.
Good stat line.
And he had 3 touchdowns last week against TCU in a losing effort in 3 quarters. No, 4 touchdowns. I think it was 4.
It was 4.
4 and 3 quarters. So he's good. And Kansas is a talented football team on the offensive side of the ball. Like Matt said, I think they try to outscore you. And that's what they're going to try to do. And right now with an Oklahoma team that scored 0 points last game, it's not that hard to outscore the opposing team if you hold them to 0. So this is a tough task for the OU defense. I'll open it up. What are you guys looking for?
Yeah, I'll take it. I want Brent Venables to get back to his roots. And even if Ted Roof is calling the plays, blitz.
Yeah.
Blitz. Send pressure. Get back. We got nothing to lose. Get back to it. Make this backup quarterback scared. Flick Bean all up and down the field until he's ready to go home. Until he's beaten up. Until he's swollen.
Satisfied.
Until he's swollen and hurt.
Agreed.
You just beat him up.
We got to stop letting Mark.
Really need to stop.
I agree. We need pressure on the quarterback.
Send lots of guys at him.
All right. Send lots of guys at the bean. All right. Patrick, jump in there.
Too much arm tackling last week. Really want that to improve. Positioning was off as well. Got to improve. They're definitely overthinking. They also looked tired. If I could give them any advice, just have fun and play some football and hit some guys, just hit them, tackle them. Done with this crap.
Ryan, how do we balance playing the guys that should be playing with the guys who you want to play? Because the guys that should be playing right now seem like the young guys who have aka Jaren Kanak, who have shown us glimpses of what they can do versus guys who continue to disappoint us week in and week out.
Yeah, I think it's hard for us.
Objection, Your Honor. Leading question.
Yeah,
very leading question.
It was. Sorry.
I think it's difficult for us as fans to know the answer to that question, Mason, because there could be a lot of things going on that we don't understand. I am with you to this though, where I still don't understand why JK7 is not playing. And he played when did they put him in last week? They put him in at the fourth quarter, very end, right at the end. Yeah, I still don't understand that. I still don't understand why we're putting in our young guys at the very end.
So if you're saving his red shirt, you already burned it anyway. You know what I mean?
Same thing. So we're talking about defense right now, but they did the same thing with Nick Evers, and I don't get it. But there could be.
What red shirt are we worried about for Nick Evers? Jackson
I'm
just next year, and we're not worried about Nick Evers.
I mean, just you say you're giving them time, but really what you're giving them is garbage time and plays that don't work around them. How are they supposed to learn from that? I think it's a hard question to answer because, I think, we're not coaches. We don't see them every day. We don't see them every day in practice. We don't know what's going on. But at the same time, we do see with our eyes what the outcome is and what the product is, and it's not great. So is
And
like
the product over and over again.
and
is
over
what
and
it
over
is.
again, And so, I mean, I don't know. I think that's a really hard and like question to answer because we don't have all the details, but I think what we do see is the outcome is not what we want. And in order to change an outcome, you have to change the actual process that you put in place to get that outcome. And in this case, we might need to change our team a little bit. So I don't know. That's not a great answer to your question, but like that's kind of my thought process around it.
Anybody
Play
have
JK7, play R. Mason Thomas.
Yeah.
All the other youngins, if they've earned it, throw them in. But we've seen those guys; they can play rotational football at least at this point.
Yeah,
Patrick? What does the defense got to do to hold back Kansas?
Pressure. That's my biggest thing. Stop the run game, get tackles for loss. Got to get back to that.
You're not going to get pressure with three guys in a 3-man front, so that's just got to stop. Whatever the hell that is. Like I've heard from multiple people who are in the know and know football way better than I do that a 3-man front, you have to have a beast as a nose guard who's like 320 pounds, and we ain't got that. So let's stop with the 3-man front stuff. It's just not going to work right now.
Brent
It's
said
just
he
not.
went to it because that's how we played against Nebraska and we played well. But I mean, things have changed. Things have changed.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Mason.
That's also an unsatisfying answer.
I agree.
Like, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We're playing
Also-
a much
Like,
different
that
team.
Also,
just
I wanna-
goes back to
I
It
want
goes
it on
back
the
to
record that none of us were the ones who texted Brent Venables, by the way.
No.
yes.
None
Well,
of
we
us
think
were
it might have
those.
been Gann. We're not sure, but
It could be. Gann has burners, so we don't really know.
it's a character. We're not
No
entirely sure.
one knows anything about Gann.
No
guys.
one.
It is.
No
Leave a
one
comment
does.
down below if
Enigma.
you know anything about Matt Gann, because we don't really. We
I
don't.
think to kind of the point that was just made. I mean, it goes back to I think the number one thing that I want to see about.
wanted to talk.
I did want to talk. I want to talk. I'm
No,
always
Matt
wanting to
did.
talk.
I know
and
we're
then
getting
you
we're
did
getting Matt.
yourself.
I saw you.
I think like, it comes back to what I want to see from the defense is adjustments, because I do not want to get punched in the face again like we have every single game. I think all but the first game is the only game that we scored first. Like, I think every other game they've scored in front of us. And, I want to see how we adjust to that, because the last 3 games we have not adjusted, but that needs to happen.
Let's get
Try
it, Matt.
again.
Yeah, I was going to say Kansas has a very balanced offense. 226 yards passing, 213 yards rushing. That's a well-balanced offense. OU, worse in the Big 12 in rushing defense, giving up over 215 yards plus. That's saying a lot, especially with a Kansas team that is not known for offensive firepower or playing football in general, right? So to have this type of offensive balance and averaging over 200 yards a game, first and foremost, what I'm looking at is you got to change the scheme on defense to stop the run. If we can stop the run, maybe that gives us a better chance. But we even saw Jason Bean come in last week after the quarterback gets injured. He goes 16 to 24 for 4 touchdowns, averaging 10 yards down the field. I mean, they were letting him throw down the field. They trusted him to make those reads and make those throws, and he almost came out and won. So it's going to be a well-balanced Kansas offense. But the first thing we've got to do is change the scheme, whether that's 4 down linemen, but we've got to plug those gaps. Stutzman and David have to fill those and stop the running game, give our defense hopefully a better chance. But we're going to give up a ton of yards. There's no doubt about it.
So let's do what we do every week. What's the one big thing that you're looking for out of this game, whether it be on offense, defense, special teams? What are you looking for? Patrick, we'll start with you.
I'm going to take it one step further back. I just want to win. No matter how sloppy that looks, how bad it is, I want to win.
I appreciate that. I can
It was
appreciate
very
that.
short. To the
It's
point.
it's
We love
simple.
it.
It's simple in theory,
Right.
but as we've seen, it's not very. Mark,
I'll finish how I started. I want us to get to the bean.
still sticking with it.
Jesus.
He's persistent with the bean. Matt,
I'll keep it simple too. I just want to get some scores on the scoreboard. I want some fireworks to be going off in Norman. I want the crowd to be into it. We need the momentum. Let's score a bunch of points with DG in the offense. Let them rip.
Ryan,
I want to see how DG plays. I still think he's going to play this week. So I want to see how he adjusts back to him.
I want the passing game to be alive again. I want to see long throws completed. I want to see short throws completed. I want to see big plays. I want to see first downs. I want to see all of that stuff through the air to show me that we can still do that and that we have the quarterback to do that. And that's Dylan Gabriel. And I hope he comes in and he's the guy. Mark's concerned that he's not going to play is what it looks like.
No, I'm just not concerned. I'm concerned he's not the guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like nothing about playing.
That's fair. All right, let's
we're all excited about Dylan coming back, but none of us were especially pleased with his play before he left.
Yeah.
Right.
But
No picks, but infinity missed opportunities on third down and touchdown plays.
So
I
feel
then we saw the play without him.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, lesser of two evils, maybe.
Yeah,
I guess, but back to the drawing board in the offseason.
So let's go with our score predictions real quick. We'll rattle through. Matt, start with you.
This is tough. I might have to update through the week if I see DG's not playing. If DG's playing, I'm going to go OU 24, Kansas 21.
I have OU 27-24. That's what I have. Anyone?
I have
next?
OU 27-17. It's interesting. Yeah, 27.
Okay. So OU covers.
Oh, yeah.
I love Patrick. I love him, man. All right. Mark, Ryan?
28-24. I was going to see if he was going to go.
28-24 who? Say it out loud.
Sooners.
Okay. Oh. All right, Mark.
Well, I'm a man of integrity. Last week, I did my best. Patrick was much better than me at predicting the score.
Great
but
score prediction, Patrick. Go Horns, baby. Right? Huh?
I predicted we'd score one touchdown. We didn't score any. That's on me.
Yeah, it's on you.
I'm thinking like 31-21. So we'll cover this -9.
Okay.
All right.
I hope you're right. Let us know down below in the comments what your score prediction is. Also, what's the one big thing you're looking for out of the game this week? Read every comment. Love seeing it. Post-game pod blew up last week with all those comments. Really appreciate those guys. Keep on commenting. Even if you're a Texas fan and watching this, joke's on you. We still get paid because of you. So
Right.
Thanks for the view. Thanks for the view in the comment. Appreciate that. All right, let's talk about some other college football games this week going on in the college football world. Want to give an update on our college football pick'em. Frat Loops still number one, 99.5 percentile. He's 37-22 on the year. Shout out to Cullen.
It's unbelievable.
It's amazing. He's on
incredible.
fire. M. Morris, 94, 36-23, one game behind Cullen. Mark's in third. Becca.
Yep.
I don't want to say her last name. Becca in fourth, and some dude named Scraw 28. Scraw 28 is in fifth. Me and Matt tied in sixth place. So let's go ahead and let's pick some games real quick. We'll go with Penn State at Michigan. I'm trying to get the game in front of me. I'm working on one monitor right now this week. Michigan, a 6.5-point favorite at home against Penn State. What do we got? Start with Mark.
Michigan.
I have Michigan as well.
Penn State, come on. They're never real.
One of my really good friends is a
True.
diehard Penn State fan, and he hates Penn State. And they're undefeated and ranked 10th, and he hates them. He thinks they're capital F frauds. Granted, he always does. I love you, Luke. Shout out. But they don't look good right now. So give me Michigan to cover. Patrick.
I've got Michigan to cover as well. I don't think Penn State has a chance.
Okay. Matt.
Penn State really hasn't played anyone. I mean, impressive win going down to Auburn and winning 41-12, but they played Northwestern, Central Michigan. They're playing at the Big House. Both teams rely on really good defense, but I think Michigan's rushing attack is going to be too much. Give me Michigan in the points.
All right. Clean sweep, Ryan?
No, I'm gonna go Penn
Ooh.
State cover because I watched the Michigan game last week and I did not find them impressive. I don't think
It's true. They have a tough week.
That might just be Big Ten football in general.
that might just be Big Ten football, and I might be wrong, but I'm also gonna go
tight
against
ends.
I know.
against the grain. So
Okay.
I got
can
Penn State to cover.
All right. I can appreciate that. What's our other game that we got? Let's go TCU, Oklahoma State. I'm getting the number in front of me. Hold, please. I don't have it in front of me. Someone get the number for me, please. But that game is not on our pick'em page, by the way. So, but I do want to pick it because both teams undefeated. Oklahoma State and TCU going up. I think they're in Fort Worth.
They are.
They're in Fort Worth.
I think when I saw the opening was -2 TCU.
Yeah,
I
just
thought-
while we're
I
checking the
think.
spread, we can give a fun fact to everybody. This is
Yeah.
the second time in college football history that there are 3 matches with teams 5-0 or better in the same day.
Wow. In the history.
Yep. And that's Penn State, Michigan, TCU, Oklahoma State, and Bama, UT,
Wow.
Tennessee.
That's crazy.
Oh, so I've got TCU by 4 at home against Oklahoma
Okay.
State. Now, -185 on the money line. TCU's good, man.
Yeah.
And they're at home.
Mhm.
And that environment did a number on us. Don't know why. I mean, I do know why, because they're a better team than we are.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma State will have to deal with a lot of the same problems that we did. And Max Duggan might be pretty darn good, It's
Yeah.
it's not out of the realm of
Might not
possibility
be a fluke.
that he just plays well against them too.
I hesitate to talk bad about Oklahoma State because they don't really deserve it. They're obviously an undefeated team, but they struggled with Texas Tech at home last week. I wasn't really impressed with what they brought to the table. I think TCU has this game. I don't think they cover. I think they need a late field goal to win, but I think TCU wins this game because I think TCU is the better team. I just do. I say that and Oklahoma State's going to win by 21. So who knows what, Ryan?
I think I got TCU to cover. I think I'm right there with you, Mason. I think they're the better team. I think at home, I think they're going to be coming off a big victory in Lawrence, and they're going to be fired up. And this is really the best team in the Big 12 that's standing between them and being on the top. And yeah, I got TCU covering.
Matt?
They haven't played Baylor yet, have they?
No, but
No.
they're ranked ahead. I meant
Right.
And also, was that another joke?
I don't think it was.
As you smile.
Yeah, I like the Cowboys here. They went to Sikkim T's hometown, and they beat Baylor, and they looked pretty good doing it. And
It's so
I like Spencer
good.
Sander over Max Duncan. I like what OSU provides. I think it's going to be a very high scoring, kind of one of those Big 12 games you see, not a whole lot of defense being played. But I think OSU has. I think they're gonna win this game outright.
Okay, Patrick.
The fun is over for the Horned Frogs. OSU wins.
OSU wins. Okay. Let us know down below in the comments while you're picking these games along with us who you got. All right, we'll finish up with Bama against Tennessee. Wow, the orange and the T screwed me up. Tennessee, number 6, plus 6.5 at home. Alabama, 6.5 point favorite. Bryce Young, I don't think he's going to play. It doesn't necessarily sound like he's going to play. Tennessee hasn't beaten Nick Saban ever. Ever. I saw this thing the other day that Tennessee fans haven't ever gotten to iMessage their friends that Tennessee has beaten Alabama.
Yeah.
A bunch of things that have been created, and that's messed up.
They've never
think
tweeted about a Tennessee win over Alabama.
You know
There's
what,
never been a
Patrick?
tweet.
You know what, Patrick? You know what, Becca? Give me the Vols at home to not only cover, they're going to win. I'm telling you right now. The Tide are scared with a backup quarterback. They're not the same team without a Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback. Go figure. Give me the Vols. Give me the Vols to win. Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Ryan.
Yeah, I got the Vols to win also. I was not incredibly impressed with Alabama last week against A&M.
That's right.
I think especially if Bryce Young does not play. I think Tennessee's on a high. They looked great against LSU last week. That's who I got. So Pat, Becca, rooting for you guys.
Pat, you're last. Mark, who you got?
So on our pick'em page, it is Bama 6.5. In real life, that line has moved to 7.5. I am going to take under a touchdown. I think you guys go ahead and trust Josh Heupel. You guys enjoy that ride.
Okay. Matt.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth because I've picked Tennessee the last couple of weeks, and it's hard to root against them being at home, and obviously the homies that are Tennessee fans, Patrick and Becca as well. I'm going to go. The streak continues. Saban wins. Tennessee still never going to beat Saban and the Tide. I'll take the Tide and the points.
Patrick.
All right, boys, here it goes. The week of August 1st, the AP Top 25 poll predictions for the season came out. And there was a team sitting at number 24, and that was the University of Tennessee. And I said that was absolute bullcrap. And you guys know what you guys said? You guys started laughing at me because I said that Tennessee is going to be the third best team in the SEC this year.
Did say that.
And I said that Hendon Hooker is the second best quarterback in the SEC.
I remember that.
And you know what? When you guys were laughing, saying I was wrong, you were right because Tennessee is not the third best team in the SEC. They're the second best team in the SEC. They're going to beat Bama this weekend. God bless Davy Crockett. Ain't no corn growing on Rocky Top. Give me the Tennessee Vols by 13.
Woo!
So
Patrick.
13.
Patrick, I like it.
Incredible.
Okay,
Amazing.
I would just like to say that Patrick has never come with that that emotion level for
If you're
an
watching our
Oklahoma
YouTube,
game.
if you're watching our YouTube channel, Patrick just put on a Tennessee bucket hat. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Of course you have one.
Yeah, of course he does.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't put on his polo.
I'm
almost
really
did. I
surprised
didn't
he
wanna
didn't
go
put
too
on his
far.
polo.
So, Pat, by 13,
13 points.
you could make a ton of money on that idea.
Might have to.
There's
thinking about
there's
it.
Mark.
Yeah, Mark's like, I got you, man. He's like, let's ride.
I think OU's going to cover 2. Let's look at some stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Let us know down below in the comments who you have in our pick'em page this week. What are the games that we just picked that you agree with, don't agree with? We're not picking the USC game. I'm not mentally capable enough to do that right now. I don't know who put that in there. We're not doing it. So let's go ahead and circle those wagons. Matt Gann, let's circle him, baby. Get it going.
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. OU men's golf has taken a little bit of a break. Some of their players are playing in some pro and amateur tours or weekend playing this weekend in those amateur kind of tournaments. So they will be coming back. It looks like next weekend to play in Houston Oaks in Hockley, Texas. If any of my Houston Knights know where that's at, for Big 12 match play. So that will be the next following Monday, October 17th. The lady volleyball team, they are currently playing in Lubbock tonight against Texas Tech. So I haven't seen the updated score. I assume the game is over by now, but I will get an update on that as soon as I can. Last week, the women's soccer program were playing the Lady Cowgirls in Norman. They were down 1-0 at half. Patrick, you know, they had to come back. They ended up tying it. They had the largest crowd in OU women's soccer history, over 4,000 plus. That place was rocking. Once they got the tying goal, it was electric. So keep coming out if you're in Norman. The ladies soccer program, they're doing something special this year. Now, coming up for some of these programs as well, volleyball, they'll go to Iowa State this weekend. Softball is still doing their intraday scrimmages between their own team. Not really sure. I guess they're just kind of having some fun with it before the season starts. And then soccer will go up to Kansas this week, and they will play at Kansas and at Kansas State. So good luck to all the programs playing, but really seeing some good all around positivity from a lot of these programs. So hopefully they can continue the good work, and wish them continued good luck.
Love it, Matt.
That's the update.
Circle those wagons. Let us know down below in the
good.
comments if you're watching any of those teams, you're going to any of those games. We'd love to get a boots on the ground from you. Little shout out on the pod if you tag us on social media that you're at one of those games.
Send us a picture
and circling those wagons. We'll give you a shout out for boots on the ground. Appreciate that as always. All right, boys, let's wrap up the show with our PGP MVPs of the week. I want to start with Patrick. Patrick, go ahead, man. Patrick, you're
sorry, I was on mute.
Come on,
I've got the OU coaching staff, man. There's a lot of haters out there about the OU coaching staff, and I wake up grateful every single day. We have BV at the helm, Roof's there, Levy's there, Roof, all of them. They're going to make Oklahoma better, and that's why they're my MVP. I'm sticking with them.
Perfect. My MVP of the week is Mohamed Salah of Liverpool. He came into the UEFA Champions League game today in the 81st minute, I believe, around there. And he was a substitute. Jurgen Klopp didn't start him today, but he came in and he scored a hat trick for Liverpool in 6 minutes. He came in and scored 3 goals in 6 minutes. Liverpool won 7-1 against Rangers from Scotland, and Liverpool is moving on to the next round of the UEFA Champions League. Shout out to Mo Salah. I love Mo Salah, my Egyptian king, my PGP MVP of the week. Mark.
Oh, I just had it and then I lost it. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm going to go with a least valuable player of the week. Oh, yeah.
There's a lot to choose from.
The opposite here. Many of you know I am an Atlanta Falcons fan. And this week, down 21-15, Grady Jarrett softly brought Tom Brady to the ground in the backfield. And 67-year-old referee Jerome Boger called a roughing the passer that effectively ended the game. I'm not saying the Falcons were going to win. That would have required completing passes, and Marcus Mariota doesn't do that. But we didn't have the opportunity, because this ref completely misinterpreted the rule and just blew the game. It's games like this that leave you on the edge of the playoff hunt in some kind of way. And the Falcons have looked more confident than they were supposed to. Do y'all see Charlie back there? I hear him, so I worry that y'all do.
My roommates also just came in the house, so that door could be what you heard as well.
A lot of things going on, guys. We're about to wrap it up.
Oh, good.
Anyway, he blew the game for the Falcons, and it really sucks. So my PGP LVP of the week, Jerome Boger, find a new job.
Same thing happened.
Go ahead, Pat.
Same thing happened in the Raiders game, right? With Carr.
We asked these referees to do an impossible job, and rightfully we get mad at them for making wrong calls. Like, it is their job, I understand, but it's also on Roger Goodell and the rules committee. Like, that rule is just, I hate that rule. You can't even tackle anymore quarterbacks, and they came out today with the excuse that the quarterback, when he's passing, is a defenseless player, and that's fine. But you're telling me in that position right there that Tom Brady is a defenseless player? He's not. He's getting sacked. That's all it is, and it's upsetting. Yeah,
softly. There was no unnecessary throw to the ground. I think it was Mitchell Schwartz on Twitter who was like, the logical endpoint of throwing flags against everything is that defenders are just going to take their licks anyway. Yeah. They're going to smack the crap out of your quarterback because it's only 15 yards no matter what, and you're going to throw a flag no matter what they do.
Yeah. Not to make it about me, but there was a flag against Tom Brady right there. Tua Tagovailoa got slung to the ground when he got concussed like that. There wasn't a flag on Tua Tagovailoa.
Right. Shout out the broadcast crew of the game was throwing clips of Tom Brady and Marcus Mariota getting actually tackled before that in the game. None of it warranted flags, but suddenly in this high stakes situation, this dude can't do his job.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's got to
Wild.
be reviewable if that stays the same.
It's
Agreed.
bad.
Agreed.
Ryan,
Okay, I'm probably gonna regret this MVP. So someone
Here we
like get
go.
this on record and bring it back. But
Regret
I'm
the
going
MVP alert, Matt.
I'm going with Minnesota Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins.
Love it.
MVP, baby.
I am a notable Kirk Cousins hater. And
You are.
if you've known me for any amount of time, I have really disliked Kirk Cousins for many years. But Vikings are 4-1, baby. Vikings are 4-1. They're top of the NFC North. They look good right now. Offense looks good. Defense is a little sketchy sometimes, but offense looks good. And he was on Pardon My Take this week. And he said this like incredible comment that I have to read for you guys word for word because it's so funny. He said, I would agree. Anything that I do is no longer cool. When I wear the plaid button down the week 1, it looks like I got it from Kohl's. But if Justin Jefferson wears that same plaid button down the next week's press conference, everybody in Minnesota is buying a plaid button down. I'm fully aware of that. Like
Good.
the man knows. The man knows
Self-awareness.
what he brings to the table. He's got self-awareness.
Got to feel on the pulse.
Yeah.
He really knows. He gets it. And he also in the same interview talked about how much money he has. So, you got both sides of the coin here.
He does it great.
But I got to give it to Kirk Cousins this week, and I'm probably going to immediately regret that when they lose to Mason's Dolphins on Sunday.
I hope
As
you're right.
someone with no money and no influence, I would rather have lots of money and no influence.
Yeah.
He's doing fine.
Matt Gann, round us out, man.
I'll keep it short and sweet. If you're watching YouTube, I am wearing a Dallas Stars hockey. NHL started this week. Stars' first game is
not
tonight.
Not again.
Already.
This again.
Already.
Stars are back,
Didn't we
baby.
just do this?
Can't wait. Can't wait to give you some updates on some hockey, boys. Aren't we excited? Don't we love hockey up in here? Come on, guys.
Cut this.
Go Stars. Go
Just
Stars.
cut the rest of
Yeah.
all of it.
Send
All
you
right,
a lot
with-
of picks when I'm at the game.
And with that, episode 40 is a wrap. Be sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Trying to hit 2,000 subs by the end of the football season. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Program Guys with a Z, Instagram Program Guys with a Z. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. That's where you can find us. It's going to be a great week. 11 a.m. kick for the Oklahoma Sooners, Kansas Jayhawks. We'll have a post-game pod for you coming up this weekend. Not sure what day that'll be yet, but we'll be sure to let you know. Follow us on all of our socials for that announcement. That's going to do it. Pat, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.